spent a long time at the University of Buffalo. On the opposite sideline, another upstate New York guy, Binghamton's King Rice in his 11th season at Monmouth. These two teams, part of a logjam kind of in the middle of the MAC pack as we start play this weekend. And Dave, maybe you start to see some separation between the teams in the middle, indeed, of this league standings.
Yes, we're going to get a quick stop the shot clock off from the get-go. But to your point, Eddie, yeah, exactly that. We're now, as you start getting into these games, is who can start to pull away in the standings. You know, Iona's been the top of the MAC, but in St. Peter's right now, if the season ended, would be the 2 seed, and Canisius knocked them off last time out.
Yeah, the Griffs 2 wins in a row over the other 2 New Jersey schools in the MAC, the aforementioned Peacocks and the Rider Broncs. First 3 from George Pappas is a little strong, and the rebound to Canisius' Amadou Fofana. Griffs scoring just under 70 points a game. Those 2 wins they've had in a row by a combined 4 points. And they'll run a motion offense. They'll get a lot of different players' touches, but they'll throw it away here in the back court, and that will give it back over to Monmouth as we still look for the evening's first bucket. Moved this game up, by the way. It was supposed to be a 7 o'clock start, but because of the impending snowstorm, moved up to a 6 p.m. start.
The team from Buffalo brings the snow with them to the Jersey Shore. That's nothing for Coach Witherspoon. Been in Buffalo for a long time. The snow they're calling for here that's a drop in a bucket.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Canisius didn't come down and say, oh, all right, well, this is just like a normal day up in upstate New York. Shavar Reynolds 3 off the right rim.
Well, a deep 3 there from Reynolds. The Hawks have settled for 2 threes, both right on track. And then speaking of on track, Fofana gets it going and first one to get on the scoreboard.
Well, he's played just fantastic basketball recently and has given Canisius a true steady hand at the point guard spot as Monmouth's Walker Miller will tie the game.
Well, you also talk about consistency. Walker Miller, you know, we've been talking about for a while now this season as he was starting to establish himself as a premier big man. I think that establishing is gone. He has already established himself, and he's been consistent night in and night out.
14 points a game, 6 rebounds a game for the North Carolina transfer doing his graduate year here at Monmouth. As we've detailed on some broadcasts, the North Carolina ties running deep between Walker, his older brother Wes, the head coach at Cincinnati, and Monmouth head coach King Rice.
You have assistant coach J.R. Reed. There's a lot of Carolina blue.
Reed, kick out, Henderson. And the rebound gets tipped out of bounds off of Shavar Reynolds. It will stay this end of the floor. It was Xavier Long, the talented freshman who got a handle on that. He's been put into the starting lineup. They've been bringing in leading scorer Malik Green off the bench.
We talked about in the open, Eddie, Canisius is unable to get a road victory yet this season, but they historically are very good on the road, and it hasn't been like they haven't played well. They just haven't been able to finish games, especially in the MAC. They've been in every game, and you even just mentioned it seems like at home they can close it out, but on the road they haven't been able to.
No, it's very weird, their schedule. Reggie Witherspoon's first 5 years, they were one of the best road teams in the country as Hareed finishes this in the paint. And they had a whole bunch of true road wins previously as Hareed gets the layup on one end and then hustles back to draw the charge on McClary on the other.
Well, first of all, Hareed plays with a high IQ. His father was his high school coach. He's very good on the defensive end. He's long. And we also saw, and we talked about in the open on the offensive end, his ability to get to the rim and use that length to finish.
And just to close the thought, Canisius' road struggles this year, very uncharacteristic. In 9 chances, they have yet to win a road game. They've been great at home, 7-3. One of those 3 losses was to this Monmouth team earlier this year. That's a strong move by Scott Hitchin and a good start for Canisius.
Well, we talk about momentum, Eddie, in games, but also momentum within seasons. The Hawks have had momentum, started out strong, they had a little lull, there when they had the over 20-day break, partly for the holiday, partly for COVID, and lost 4 in a row. We're struggling a little bit. Now they seem to have their momentum back. You know, Canisius just starting to look for that type of momentum to get their season going, and a big road victory would play a big part in that.
Oh, if they break through and get their first road win tonight, like we talked about, these teams that are jumbled in the league standings, that would be a huge momentum-building win for Canisius. Reynolds and Miller, two-man game. Walker Miller has his first 2 field goals go down.
Well, great patience on both ends. First Miller kicking it back out to Shavar Reynolds, and then Reynolds taking his time when he gets in the lane and the dish. The interesting part, too, of Miller's game is you would figure it big. He would want to go up and finish in the rim, but he's got an excellent touch and very comfortable with that little jump hook as he nailed it down.
McClary fouls Hareed shooting a short baseline jumper. It'll be 2 free throws for Canisius' second leading scorer, the 6'5 junior from Baltimore, Armand Hareed.
You see the take here. Actually, just a little bit there on the arm. When we talked to Hareed with his length, he usually can get to the rim, draw contact, finish, but he also likes to do this. Get to the free throw line, pick up a couple free ones.
You can see Hareed, he's really an ideal kind of put-together wing player in this league. Great size, great length, shoots it well, and I think the key, like you said, the intensity he brings game in and game out, really the separator. He was great in the game earlier this year in Buffalo. Monmouth won by 14, but he had 20 points. That was one of 5 20-point performances he's already had this season.
Well, he's a tough guard, Eddie, and you talk about in this league, it seems like every night we see that 6'5 player who can shoot the three, but really prefers to use their length and strength, their ball handling ability, their skills to try to get to the rim. And talk about getting to the rim. Shavar Reynolds picks up 2 with a nice finish.
At his best, moving forward to the rim. Canisius has checked in Jaco Fritz, the 6'10 junior from the Netherlands, while Monmouth has brought in Sam Shepu. Jordan Henderson's jumper is off. There's Nikkei Ruddy underneath. Ruddy coming off a career-high 15 rebound performance in Monmouth's win over Manhattan last time out.
Yeah, a couple dunks in a row, an alley-oop, a follow-up. You got the crowd going. He was all fired up.
A whistle moving towards the rim, and we'll have free throws after the media timeout. Good start to this one. Some good rhythm. Tie game early.
Here, but historically under Coach Witherspoon, they've actually won 35 road games, which is in the top 25 of all Division I teams during that span.
That's what makes this year such a weird one for Canisius as Ruddy knocks the first one down. The great home record, but the 0-9 on the road just doesn't mesh with what they normally do. But then when you get kind of beyond the box score, if you will, as Ruddy knocks them both down, you see losses at Miami, East Carolina, a top 25 St. Bonaventure team, and then at Cleveland State to begin the year. So you start your year, maybe not gelling, maybe roles aren't defined, and before you know it, you're 0-4. So I think it's a bit misleading, 0-9.
Yeah, and also then tough to bounce back, as you mentioned, Eddie. You know, sometimes when you start out the season and you have just those tough games, road games, you know, we talked about momentum. And that starts that momentum of like, we haven't gotten one. Well, you know, understandably so with the great competition you're playing. But then what happens is you play some teams maybe you can get on the road, but as we mentioned, now there are close games and you're not able to close them out. So it takes time. You got to get one before you can get number 2.
Well, trying for 3 will be Walker Miller as he's off to a hot start. He has made his first 3 from the floor, and Walker Miller with a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play.
Well, you look at the little kind of curl and the pick and roll and the nice dish from Pappas. And great body control and finish from Miller.
And maybe something we don't talk about enough on these broadcasts is one of the reasons Walker Miller is indeed having the year he is, and he's been so comfortable here in this Monmouth system. It's the same system he ran the last handful of years at the University of North Carolina. That little rescreen look, not a lot of bigs can pull that off. He made it look easy.
Well, and the other thing he does very well is get out and transition. The Hawks do an excellent job when the opponent misses long threes or guards miss short-range shots or layups where they don't have great defensive balance, and Walker Miller's defender is around the rim, Walker Miller will get out and beat him down the floor and often get finishes in transition.
He's 3 for 3 to begin this game. Monmouth has made 5 of its first 8 from the floor as they lead by 5. Fritz feeding Malik Green down low. Ruddy with the eraser. Pappas is going to pull up in transition, and Monmouth out to a 16-8 lead.
Well, the Hawks doing what they do well, and why they are so dangerous. We came out of the media timeout less than 2 minutes ago. It was a tie game, and all of a sudden the Hawks on an 8-0 run, capped right there on the 3 in transition from Pappas.
Inside 10 for Canisius. Here's Henderson in the corner. Has it poked away by Reynolds. And now he gets it 1-on-2. He'll wait for teammates. Pappas tees up another triple.
Great look by Reynolds. He created the turnover. Didn't really have anything in transition on his own and able to find a wide open Pappas. Just didn't really quite get his legs set.
Well, Malik Green, Canisius' leading scorer, will definitely be important in this one. He averages 12 points a game in just 20 minutes of action. Pappas clearing the Hareed rebound. Last year's MAC 6th player of the year, Malik Green, will maybe try to pull off something, I don't know if it's ever been done, win that award 2 years in a row. A great start for Miller, 7 points. Going to go to work on Fritz. That one just kind of came off his hand weird.
Yeah, it looked like Miller wanted to go back with his right, but ended up opting to try to finish with the left hand. And as you mentioned, just looks like he fell off. And Pappas with a great extension there. Thought he might have reached in and steal, but it'll be still the Griff's ball. And both coaches going to the bench again. We're going to see Jarvis Vaughn for the first time this evening.
He'll come in as well as each team's respective number zeros. That's Miles Foster for Monmouth and Akram Ahmed for Canisius. Hareed, attack-minded move. The ball slipped out of his hand as well as Foster clears the rebound. Sam Shapu to the crossover move and left his finger roll a bit short. Here comes Ahmed. Oh, tough catch down low, and Green hit the ground hard.
Yeah, well, Pappas lost his footing, and as a result, Green kind of slipped underneath Pappas. Both kind of falling hard to the floor. As we see here, Pappas loses his footing, which in turn causes Green to lose his. Pappas will pick up the foul. Green hit his head there, but it looks like he's going to be able to stay in the game.
Yeah, they'll both stay in the game. Monmouth will bring in Miles Ruth for Shavar Reynolds. Ahmed had a good game when these two teams met in Buffalo. He had 16 in that one. Henderson had double figures against Monmouth the first time. Gets that shot to fall.
Well, Canisius has the ability to put the ball in the basket. Looks almost turn it over there.
Vaughn now got caught in no man's land momentarily.
We're talking about the Griffs. You know, Eddie, they've been in a lot of close games, in particular in the MAC play.
It's a good take by Miles Ruth. He'll shoot free throws. But first, we'll step out. Let's close that thought when we come back. Monmouth with a 6-point lead. Among friends here at the Ocean First Bank Center. Part of the crew that braved the, I guess, early stage of what is supposed to be a pretty serious winter storm.
Yeah, as we mentioned, you know, for the Buffalo natives, this is probably just, you know, Tuesday afternoon for them. Nothing, but braving for the big storm. Moved the game up an hour early. Get that in before, let's get this one in before the snow starts to fall. I've seen anywhere on the weather reports, the weathermen, I love their roll. Anywhere from 3 to 18 inches.
It's the best job in television.
Eddie, Pappas is going to hit between 3 and 12 threes today. I'm going to call it. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Right. That's such a good point. Oh, the model changed. These two teams met in Buffalo. Monmouth pretty much led that one throughout. They've controlled for the first 9 minutes of this one. As Fofana has started this one hot. He's got 5. Here's Miles Foster. He and Malik Green a little one-on-one in the block. Oh, and they call the foul on Green, and he did not like that call. The reaction to the shot looked like good defense, as that'll be 2 free throws now for Foster.
Yeah, well scouted out there. They know Miles Foster likes to come back over his right shoulder. Green's letting the official know that he held his ground there, was ready for Foster to come back to the left. But the officials saw contact. We talk about this a lot, Eddie. Usually the Zebras end up making the last call.
Their word is fun.
Agreed.
It's funny, right? There's no other time in life when you can have a decision rendered to you, and that's when the arguing starts. I mean, I guess a few times there is, but, right? Like, you don't argue till the call you don't agree with comes in, but like you said, I don't know if that's ever changed a call.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, every time you make a call, there's one coach that thinks it was a good call, and the other coach thinks it was awful.
Seven-point Monmouth lead here in this first half. Fofana again.
Yeah, Fofana's got a nice touch. That was a soft shot right off the rim. This is where the Hawks are dangerous. Off of missed threes, they get out in transition, but even if they don't score in transition, they're able to create switches, or the defense never gets set, and Shampoo takes advantage and gets to the rim for the finish.
Well, he caught that ball running full speed, and I think that was the key. Normally, as a defender, you almost wait a little bit. Shampoo, who is fast to begin with, caught that one moving quickly. Now, where does Canisius go for a bucket here? Ahmed, double team, threw it away. Foster tipping ahead to Pappas. George, Pappas to the rim, and Hareed, a huge block, and send it down the other way. Oh, what a chase down defensive play by Armon Hareed.
Well, we talked about in the open, Hareed, he has long, and he can finish around the rim, but he is an excellent defender. And he can get up there, and he got all ball up top. Maybe got a little body down below, but Pappas didn't even argue. He said, that's a heck of a play. I'll get up and get him next time.
Inside of 10 minutes to go. Maybe that defensive play sparks Canisius on this end of the floor. Fritz, an offensive rebound, finds the cutting Ahmed.
Well, you talk about it, sometimes a great defensive play, and then a silly turnover by the Hawks. Get some extra effort going, a little energy going. We saw it was Ruddy who created that extra energy for the Hawks in their last time out against Manhattan. Can it be Hareed that kind of jump starts Canisius with a little mo?
Well, it was that sequence that led then to what we have now. Monmouth, the inaccurate outlet pass will lead to these Ahmed free throws.
We'll take a look there. Coach Rice going to waste no time and get Walker Miller and Shavar Reynolds back in the game. Two of his leading scorers.
They'll come in for Foster and Pappas. Just when it looked like Monmouth was starting to kind of seize control of the first half, that's when Canisius kind of bared down a bit, and they're an Ahmed free throw away from making it a 5-point game.
Well, the game of basketball, the three-point shot can get teams on great runs to build leads, but can also get teams that are behind right back into a game quickly. That's exactly what Canisius has done here.
good half-court offense. Jaco Fritz makes it 22-18. Chaput, on an aggressive drive, will earn free throws. He's been very assertive offensively here in the first half.
Yeah, and there, great recognition. Amit guarding him, got hung up on the screen. There was no help, so he was able to get in the lane, and all Amit could do was foul.
The senior, Sam Chaput, shoots 73% from the free throw line. Really plays a steadying role for this team off the bench. He's 16th in career assists at Monmouth, coming into play tonight just under 230 career assists.
Well, and his ability to score, and you think about it right now, the Hawks have 3 guards that could be point guards for them in Miles Roof, Chaput, and Shavar Reynolds on the floor right now. All 3 excellent defenders.
It allows Monmouth some true lineup versatility. McClary went out with 2 fouls early. Harid slicing to the rim makes it 24-20. After a slow shooting start, Canisius has picked it up. They've made 5 of their last 7. Miller down low. Stopped once at the rim, but he gets the second one to go.
Weller stays with it. Able to get the rebound off the block shot and go right back up. Use his body as a block. He's got great size. Speaking of size, there's Ruddy on the defensive end. As he gets the block, the Hawks will get the loose ball out of bounds off of Canisius.
It was Fritz the last to touch it. Yeah, you almost have a lineup with 3 point guards and 2 post players.
Yeah, and 3 point guards that all have the ability to put the ball in the basket. Shavar Reynolds comes up short on that one. So Miles Ruth almost comes up with the steal. But the Hawks and Canisius in a good one. We'll be back right after this.
The all-time games played leader, and he's watching, and maybe his record fall this couple of games to one of his former teammates, Marcus McClary.
Yeah, we talked about that in the open as well, right? But Diego Quinn, talk about all those great teams with the Hawks. Played a lot of games. That was a lot of victories.
You know what Diego Quinn's first game was?
You're killing me.
A little trivia question.
Oh, the big victory over the Bruins?
84-81, Monmouth over UCLA. Diego Quinn played a huge role in that game, made some key free throws late. That was his first collegiate game. Quite the way to start your career.
That is not bad. Going to Pauley Pavilion, knock off the Bruins.
Also, you got to love the assist from the truck, by the way.
Yes.
Anytime you got the producer in. we're a well-oiled team, no doubt, here from the top all the way down. Harid just had a jumper, and now here he comes out of the pack with possession. Fofana buries it. It's a 1-point game.
We talked about his touch a little earlier in this game. The 3 in transition has just become such a weapon in college basketball. It is just so hard to guard. And in transition, a great time to get it. The Hawks getting a little sloppy here. A combination of, we talked about Canisius playing with a little extra energy off of that Harid block. We have ourselves a 1-point game. Coach Wright's going to bring in George Pappas back in, get some offensive flow.
Well, it's both Harid and Fofana as Reynolds exits, who lead Canisius with 8 points apiece. Let's go one step further. They're a combined 6 of 11 from the floor right now. Monmouth led by this guy, Walker Miller, who now has 10 points.
Well, it was a close game all half, and then the Hawks came out of the 16-minute timeout. It was 8-8. Within 2 minutes, went on an 8-0 run. And since then, Canisius has just been clawing back, been a little bit back and forth.
Yeah, and they've turned some Monmouth turnovers into points. They've also sharpened things up on the offensive end of the floor. Fritz finding Hareed backdoor for the two-handed stuff.
Excellent ball movement to catch Monmouth on the back door. Hareed showing that length.
He's into double figures now. Pappas going to create a little bit of space straight away for George Pappas.
Oh, that's what Coach Rice was looking for when he went to the bench and brought Pappas back in. He knows he needs to get a little offensive going. Might feel like the Hawks a tad stale, but they're so explosive. They could build off of that three and get a stop or two and get some runouts.
Xavier Long going to give it over to Fofana. Keeps the dribble alive. Fritz steps out, and Miller takes the rebound.
Actually, Canisius definitely concerned with the Hawks' ability to get out and transition off of long missed threes. They only set one griff to the offensive glass to make sure that they have good defensive balance. And that's because of the Hawks' ability to be able to get out in transition, shoot the three. Their big men run the floor so well. Speaking of one that's running the floor so well, Ruddy's going to get a rest. Miles Foster come in. Ruddy's getting some fives from his teammates.
Miller back to the free throw line. Among the league leaders at 81%. Pretty remarkable the seasons that Pappas, Reynolds, and Miller are all having. And don't discredit McClary, who's just under double figures. But those top three all have very similar numbers, between 14 and 16 points, all shooting in the 80s from the line.
And as you mentioned, the announcer jinx, although I always say I don't think the player actually hears you talking about what a great free throw shooter they are. But to your point on the three, they have been consistent night in and night out. They've been contributing, and that's why the Hawks are having an excellent season, and we keep talking about why they will be such a dangerous team this year in the MAC tournament. When you have three players at that capability of scoring, that's hard to defend. And if for some reason one has an off night, you still have the other two that could pick it up. And plus, a bunch of talent along the bench for the Hawks, Marcus McClary as well. But it seems like when you have that one or two guys that you rely on, if one of them has an off night in NCAA college basketball postseason, it's one and done. You're off, you're done, you're going home.
Yeah, and that goes both ways, right? You've seen great individual players carry teams a couple of games, but you've also seen teams with high expectations not get the performance they need out of a marquee player and go home earlier than expected. It's the beauty of March.
You're spot on, Eddie. Spot on, as usual.
I sit next to some pretty smart analysts, and I just listen, and I just kind of soak it all in. So it's my basketball education.
If you're talking about sitting next to smart analysts, you've been doing a lot of games with other people, which is great.
No, it's this year where it's gone to the graduate level. There was an offensive foul that previous time down on Miles Ruth. 4-point game with 5 minutes to go here in the first half. Henderson left alone for three. Jordan Henderson makes it a 1-point game.
And the one way to stop the Hawks from getting out in transition is to make shots. And there the Hawks pick up another turnover. Shavar Reynolds got a little aggressive on the handoff and shoulder lean. The official gets him for a move and screen.
That emphasis on that call has been one of the biggest changes and one of the biggest really stories in college basketball. You see that called multiple times every game.
Yeah, and the players have to adjust, Eddie. The officials have been consistent with it all year. It's not going to change.
Hareed runs right into Shavar Reynolds, and that'll be an offensive foul on this end of the floor.
You got to love Shavar Reynolds. Just picked up the offensive foul on the shoulder. And here, just great recognition on the defense. Steps in, catches Hareed. Kind of off balance a little bit, but great recognition by Reynolds. And a great pickup play. You just picked up a foul on the other end. Let's make up for it on the defensive end.
The Seton Hall transfer enjoying quite the season, coming back home, the area where he was such a great high school player. Pappas, the one dribble pull up to his left. That is a tough shot for George Pappas.
And that is a tough guard, Eddie. And that's twice now Pappas has been able to get his defender to run by him on the pump fake, get a one dribble quick pull up. Nothing but nylon from downtown.
And would you agree the evolution of his game from a standstill spot-up shooter to what he is now, it's remarkable to see.
Yes, and his ability to be able to get to the rim, he's actually on the defensive line very effective. We'll see more of that when we get back right after this. Ability is, first of all, his size and his quick release allows him to get threes off, and he is just such a tough guard. And when he is feeling it, and especially here at home, in the Dr. Marilyn A. McNeil Arena, he is so comfortable. We've talked to him about it. He says, why wouldn't I shoot the ball so well at home? I'm here every day practicing. I'm so comfortable. He shoots 44% from three here in the friendly confines.
He controls here. 9 points in this first half. Reynolds, oh, what a beautiful pass to Foster.
Well, great recognition by Reynolds, feeling the double. And Miles Foster with the cut. And a nice flush. The Hawks mixing up their defense here a little bit, coming out in a little zone, out of the timeout. Coach Rice likes to mix up defenses sometimes. Sometimes they'll run doubles at people. But if you're going to play some zone, you better find that guy, Fofana. That's his third three on the day.
He and Hareed have combined for 22 of Canisius' 34 points. Fofana matching Pappas 3 for 3. Long. Good hustle. Let's go the other way. Fofana. Oh, he was trying. He was looking for it. And a good job by Foster closing out.
Well, Fofana also recognizing he had the mismatch down low. But they're going to catch Long, who made a great defensive effort. And Fofana recognizing there was a mismatch. Reynolds caught on him down low. Wanted to get him the ball, but he loses his traction. But earlier, Eddie, this is great recognition by Reynolds. He feels the double and a good cut by Foster. Foster using the dribble to create the space and quick to the rim.
Well, the length that Reynolds got on that angle to really go around the defender with the bounce pass, that was impressive. 3-point Monmouth lead as we near the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Pappas again for three. This one off the back rim and a good box out by Long.
Yeah, Long actually doing an excellent job on Walker Miller. Created the turnover last possession. Good box out.
Hareed using his size and getting inside. And Chaput the rebound and run.
Hareed and Pappas both still down.
Oh, Chaput, the double clutch layup is good. And back the other way, both Hareed and Pappas, as Dave said, slow to get up. I don't know if they just mutually hit each other, but they have the same look on their face in front of the Monmouth bench. Ten seconds for Canisius to shoot. Hareed finds Fofana. He's been hot all half. Long, another offensive rebound. Hareed wants this one from straight away. That rattles in for Armand Hareed.
Well, great work by Canisius, in particular Xavier Long working inside. He's going to pick up a foul in here. He and Walker Miller have been battling. But Long creating some turnovers on the defensive end, been boxing out, picked up the offensive rebound, and a nice kick out there. A lot of energy.
Miller will go back to the free throw line, 4 for 5 in the first half. 12 points, 4 rebounds for Miller.
Well, Miller, an excellent free throw shooter, has a nice touch at 6'11". Get that little jump hook, step out and hit the three. And terrific from the free throw line this year for the big man at over 80%, at 81.3% on the season.
No, Miller knew it right away, left the second one short. 40-37, high-scoring first half.
And Canisius here, the Hawks, with that last opportunity, Canisius has a decision here of how quick they attack. They want to try to create a 2-for-1 opportunity. And the Hawks now extending their defense. They can get a stop, can hold for one themselves.
A read on the baseline, a blocking foul called under the rim.
Yeah, they're going to get Miller. He was actually inside the charge circle, not out further enough. We'll take another look at it. But you see Harry with the take, and Miller, you can see right from there, it's hard to tell, but if you get a good angle, from that angle it was hard to tell, but he was inside the charge arc, as they call it.
Well, and the really tough part of that is you have to get both of your feet out of that. You cannot be on the line at all. That's coming up at halftime. Dave and I are going to take a look at the MAC standings and the scores around the league. We'll look at the first half stats and highlights, but looking forward to being joined by Monmouth head women's coach Ginny Bogus at the break and get her thoughts on a variety of topics, including her team's fantastic start, 5-2 in MAC play.
They're doing terrific. I'll tell you, Jersey Shore women's basketball, just a hotbed. The Hawks' excitement, and Ginny's doing a terrific job and building relationships with the high school coaches here in the Shore. And Walker Miller draws contact. Will shoot get another 2 free ones from the charity stripe. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Shavar Reynolds. He'll shoot 2.
And Reynolds has spent a lot of this first half facilitating, getting other players involved, but something we've seen out of him, really the last handful of games, his ability in the second half to really turn it up and to take Monmouth from a close game to pushing a lead or to bring him back. That's where he's kind of settled into an interesting role for this team of like second half leading scorer.
It almost seems like he tries to get everybody involved in the first half. Let's get the game kind of feel the flow of the game. And in the second half, especially here at home, when the Hawks have built some double-digit leads, the ball is in his hands with the shot clock running down. As the Hawks will try to take some time off the clock, he's able to finish and build his scoring a lot, as you mentioned, in the second half.
Henderson's three was right on line, but it left it just short. High-scoring first half between Canisius and Monmouth as the Hawks take a 2-point lead into halftime. The most impressive thing, Dave, that we saw was after Monmouth built that big lead, you just saw Canisius just slowly but surely get themselves back into the game. Started with stops, they drew a couple offensive fouls, and then Monmouth, the counter-punch to the really first half, they ended the half on a nice run, and now here we are. After 20 minutes, it's only a 2-point difference. When these two teams met in Buffalo in December, Monmouth won by 14. This is a different game.
And the Hawks have prided themselves all year, Coach Rice adamant about, in the locker room at halftime, about picking up and continuing, really, the defensive intensity and pressure. And boy, the way if you can get George Pappas going, knocking down threes like that, you get the crowd going and build a lead quickly. But talking about this end here, the Hawks pride themselves on their defensive effort and their intensity that they continue through the second half and wearing teams down.
There's Miller, the defensive stop at the rim. Pappas just hit one. He'll pull up the other way. And this goes out of bounds off of Scott Hitchin. So Monmouth will keep it with a 5-point lead.
Well, Pappas feeling it off the first one, comes back down in transition. But really not a bad miss in that the Hawks obviously come up with the offensive rebound out of bounds. But they had great position on that as well.
Fofana stepping in front of McClary and ultimately forcing the turnover. McClary was on the end line.
Well, the Hawks have had some episodes this year where they've struggled getting the ball in on some baseline out of bounds plays. Canisius picks up the turnover there. Hawks are going to pick up some full court defense here too. That's also part of the defensive intensity philosophy. Even though they're not trapping or anything, just really picking up full court.
Fofana rolls one and continues his hot shooting from the first half.
Well, there was a screen, and on the switch, McCleary recognized that a little late. Fofana makes him pay.
44-42. McCleary sizing up Hareed. There's Ruddy active on the offensive glass, but he stepped out of bounds as well.
Well, that's twice now the Hawks have gotten the offensive rebounds, but then step on the end line for the turnover. Last time on the baseline out of bounds with McCleary. That time Ruddy comes up with the rebound, but off balance, steps on the line. Canisius can tie this game up or take the lead with a three.
Well, the candidates to do that would most likely be Hareed or Fofana, the way this game has gone. Hitchin around three Monmouth players. Miller another block. Henderson calling for it. Left wing. Hitchin on the offensive glass. Hareed, long. He can't get it to fall. A long offensive possession. Canisius comes up empty. Miller finding Reynolds.
Well, the Hawks doing what they do well. Off the miss inside. They run out. Had Moeller for a layup, but Pappas led him too much. And here they come running again.
Pappas on the wing. Here's Miller backing down on Henderson. And we'll send it the other way, but not before we look back at that rim rocker.
Well, often Shavar Reynolds will make the dish to the big men for the flush, but this time it's the opposite way. And Reynolds, high flying.
We detailed his ability to turn it on in the second half. That's the way to get started in the scoring column. Hareed, the tough fall away too.
Well, each time the Hawks try to get something exciting, maybe a little run, it's been either Fofana or Hareed who answer.
Reynolds, a little one-on-one with Fofana, and they'll call the foul on Amadou Fofana. I actually thought he fouled him initially.
But
not that time.
It's funny you mentioned that, Eddie, and that's actually great. That's a veteran move by Reynolds. He knows he got fouled there, so he's like, I'm just going to go create contact whether he fouls me or not this time. I'll get the call, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's why Fofana's upset, because in his mind, if he didn't call the first one, right, wrong, or indifferent, ultimately it was a foul initially, and then even though not the play that Fofana would have thought, I think that's what his head coach, Reggie Witherspoon, is even telling him. It's just a pleasure to catch up with both King Rice and Reggie Witherspoon when we have the chance there. The way you hear King Rice talk about Reggie Witherspoon, being an upstate New York guy, and what Reggie Witherspoon means to that fraternity of coaches in the MAC, is really some fun, but also just really interesting and engaging conversation about their relationship and how far back it goes.
Well, we're going to see the Hawks now as well, falling into a zone again. Coach Rice changing up the defense. Likes to mix it up, put the other team off balance.
Ahmed from straight away. Akram Ahmed makes it 48-47.
Well, both times the Hawks have come out and played zone. Canisius has made them pay from the three up top. Fofana hit one in the first half. Well, Ahmed hit that one.
Miller being fouled by George Maslenikoff down low. And we've reached our first break. Good one. Don't go away here in the second half.
Everybody behind the scenes, that they make it look good.
Well, you can see also in that room, and it's under the direction of Andrew Kurtz, our producer, but those are Monmouth University students in there as well, and interns getting hands-on experience working alongside of their classmates and broadcasting and help us broadcast these games. We'll get the timeout right here. The old consecutive timeout. And it's still a one-point game. Those are the two individuals from the MAC who are on the Lou Henson Award watch list. The talented sophomore Nelly Jr. Joseph from Iona, and a guy we get to see pretty regularly in Monmouth, fifth-year senior George Pappas, their leading scorer, just under 16 points a game.
Well, there's a reason they're both on the list. They're both really good. They're fun to watch, too.
Canisius really closing out hard defensively, and that was a great defensive possession for the Griffs.
Yeah, excellent work by Henderson. Did not go for the ball fake that time for Pappas, so Pappas had to step back. Comes up empty. Griffs with a chance to take the lead.
Here's Hareed, a lot of contact, and they call an offensive foul. I think either way, one bench was going to be upset after that whistle blew, and the call goes against Hareed.
Yeah, Reggie Witherspoon not happy with that, but what they get is Hareed will take a look. Lowering his shoulder, this is Shavar Reynolds just riding him, and Hareed actually creates the contact, and the officials go behind the head.
Well, that's one of those examples. If, as a defender, if you're just a half step in front of the offensive player, you'll get the call. Monmouth going to throw it down low to Nikkei Ruddy. And there's Hareed to clear the rebound.
Yeah, right now, I think you credit Canisius' defense on the half-court end, and also in transition. They haven't allowed the Hawks to get out and run, which created the half-court offense. And they've been able to get stops. And great effort and hustle like that. The ball will stay here. They're actually going to get a foul on, I believe, Ruddy.
Yeah, it'll be his first.
You know, extra effort. Coaches love it. Bodies flying on the floor. Two Griffs on the floor. That one fell. But either way, his body might have been a little ticky-tack foul for Ruddy. Could have still just gave the ball to Canisius, but either way, Canisius now with the baseline out of bounds.
You know, a nice job by Pappas. You know, Ahmed fell backwards over a player, and Pappas was there to kind of catch him.
Well, you have mutual respect from the coaches, and that mutual respect leads over to their teams.
Ahmed has his pass deflected. It was Miller, and now here comes Chaput. McClary going to spin back, use the right. And Ahmed comes out of the pile with it, but throws it too far in front of Henderson.
A little sloppy play back and forth. Two turnovers in a row for the Griffs. That one was more of a sloppy one. The other one, credit really good defense by the Hawks. But the other part, we talked a little bit about this throughout the game, is Canisius' ability in the transition defense to get back and not allow the Hawks to pick up a lot of baskets in transition or threes. It's a big part of Monmouth's offense. Canisius has done a good job of putting them in the half court and getting them to settle for some tough shots and holding them to one shot. Hence, that's why we have ourselves a close game.
Well, Henderson's three just missed a close one. That one wasn't. And Pappas controls with Monmouth up one. Chaput, like he did in the first half, getting into the paint. We're looking for our first points in about 3 minutes. And Ahmed delivers. Canisius leads 50-48.
The Hawks have not gotten anything in transition and been settling in the half court. And there, a great turn and read by Pappas. Instead of settling for the three, he realized he had the defender on his back who got hung up on the screen. And he ties this one up.
gotten so good at shooting on the move, shooting off the bounce. 50 apiece. Xavier Long, front rim, and there's Miller on the glass. Pappas tried to throw it to Ruddy. It was really good defense by Long. Excellent job by the freshman.
Well, we've seen Long do that a few times, and you mentioned it, Eddie. Usually big men, freshmen, their weak spot usually is on the defensive end. The game's a little quicker. They fall behind, but not Long. He's been terrific down low.
Very much a game here in West Long Branch. Ahmed again. 5 in a row for Akram Ahmed, and Canisius back in front.
Well, it's amazing today, Eddie, the bounce back from players. Ahmed just turned it over earlier, and then he comes right back and makes up for it with the 3 in the corner. He gets the runner there. We're going to get one down low. As on Long, Xavier Long, a little too aggressive down low. He's going to get a rest. Sometimes that's a tired foul as well. Reggie Witherspoon saw that coming. So let's make some wholesale subs. Both coaches going to the bench.
Yeah, nearing that second media timeout, started to see maybe some slightly tired players. We did get those back-to-back timeouts just under 16 minutes. Credit to Canisius with this 52-50 lead as Sam Chaput will go to the free throw line.
Well, you mentioned it earlier in the first half, Eddie. Chaput, a little extra aggressive, getting to the rim. He's got 6 points on the night. Now going to the charity stripe for the 3rd time. Knocked down 2 earlier. All his points coming around the rim or from the free throw line this evening. And Coach Rice had gone a couple times with him and Ruth together, both really point guards, but excellent defenders, quickness, trying to create some up-tempo offense. When you have 2 point guards, sometimes like get the ball to either one and run the floor and let's get something going. But Canisius has not allowed that. They've been very patient on the offensive end, and Fofana takes a quick step, turns that over.
Yeah, that travel will give it back over to Monmouth when we come back. But a brand new game here as Canisius leads by 1.
Been a pleasant lift to Coach Witherspoon.
Well, he has played well now in 2 games against Monmouth. Had a season-high 16 when these teams met up in Buffalo on December the 5th, and he's followed that up with a really good second half. 8 of his 11 here after halftime.
Well, we talked about those 6'5" guards in the MAC. The Griffs have 2 of them in Ahmed and a Reed. They're just a hard guard. You can put the ball to the floor. They have size. They can handle it. And they can shoot it as Ahmed just comes off. But there's a Reed that comes back, and the back and forth of the 2 6'5" guards we just talked about. It's a challenge.
This Canisius backcourt has been the difference so far. Pappas never stops moving and makes it a 1-point game. Nice pass from Jarvis Vaughn.
Well, you talk about a tough guard because he shoots the 3 so well, and he has such a quick release. The defender doesn't want to give up anything around the arc, and there Pappas got it on the curl. And now they get Canisius with the turnover. Now the Hawks, who had fallen behind by 3, can now take the lead again.
And that's Lenikov's pass fired into the courtside seats. Pappas's last bucket gives him 16 now. Hareed got a hand on it. It finds its way to Fofana. Look ahead, Maslenikov. Ultimately works its way out to Fofana for 3. Loose ball down low. Bodies all over the place. Monmouth will get it with 10:19 to go. But Dave, I think at one time 5 different players were on the floor.
Well, you gotta love the passion. The coaches are excited. Bodies hitting the floor. That effort. Great effort.
Canisius by a point. They've outscored Monmouth 15-12 here in the second half. Much different game than when these two teams met in Buffalo about a month and a half ago. Chaput, nice looking move, puts Monmouth back in front.
Chaput looked a little bit like Shavar Reynolds there with the little step back. His favorite move in the second half. Chaput and Miles Ruth causing all type of havoc out top with their quickness on the defensive end.
Reed and Pappas one-on-one. Fritz leaves it short. Foster on the rebound. Vaughn, he'll pull up in transition.
That's one I think the Hawks would have liked to gotten back in transition. They had some numbers. Vaughn pulled up a little bit tough, comes up empty.
Maslenikov buries the triple from straight away, and Canisius back in front, back and forth.
It seems like right now neither team can pull away.
Foster will go to the free throw line. Maslenikov points to himself, saying, I got him, and Miles Foster will shoot two.
Well, the Hawks had built an 8-point lead early in the first half off the way they like to do things. They come out on a run, create a turnover, catch a three in transition, and boom, in 2 minutes was an 8-0 run. They have not had any runs like that the rest of the evening. You know, and often you'll see them have these 8-0, 10-2 runs in a short 2-minute period. It's their style, the way they get up and down. And Canisius has done an excellent job today of defensive balance and their transition defense, which really has not allowed the Hawks to score much in transition all evening.
If the stats are accurate, Canisius has only allowed Monmouth to score one fast break bucket, just 2 points. Fofana and Ruth, a contested step back two, and a foul goes on the Monmouth sophomore, Miles Ruth.
Well, we're talking about the defense of Chaput and Miles Ruth out top, causing havoc for the Griffs guards. And that was evident in that possession. But that time, Miles Ruth just a little too aggressive, create some contact on Fofana. Fofana will go to the free throw line here.
He's been great in this game, Dave. 14 points and really got it going early.
Yeah, he's got such a nice, soft touch as we see there. That hits the rim a bunch of times, but it's got almost like a buttery feel as it goes through the net. He's got range. That one's from deep downtown.
The two free throws give him 16 points. He, Harid, and Ahmed, all in double figures. They've combined for 47 of Canisius' 59 points. It's a strong take by Miles Ruth back the other way.
And Coach Rice looking for the Hawks to pick up defense more in full court. Once that intensity to come up. And when teams score high 30s or into the 40s as they are, the backdoor cut there, and Ahmed comes up empty. What a nice pass from Fritz. But the Hawks have done an excellent job of holding teams in the low 30s and sometimes even in the 20s or lower in the second half. And right now the Griffs on track get close to 80.
Yeah, Monmouth's second half defensive performance all year has been just great. But you see Canisius, what they can do to bother a team in the MAC with different scores. Here's Pappas. Missed the first one. Ruth in the corner. Harid is fouled by Ruth. It'll be Miles Ruth's fourth foul. And that'll take us to the media timeout. A 2-point Canisius lead.
And interesting, we're just checking out some stats. Canisius has got 8 more shot attempts than the Hawks. And then the Hawks have gotten to the free throw line more, but really the key, Canisius with more made threes than the Hawks, and winning on the glass as well. And it's a 2-point lead. And now 4 is Fofana. He's shown his ability to score multiple ways. He's just got such a nice touch from the perimeter, too.
He has been playing great basketball of late for this Canisius team, and it's just continued here tonight in a big spot. Canisius hasn't won a road game all season, trying to snap an 0 for 9, and they'll get the ball back after the Walker-Miller travel, up 4.
Well, once again, Canisius, most of the game, but in particular here in the second half as well, they have done an excellent job of keeping the Hawks into a half-court set and making them work on the offensive end. They've got multiple stops, and they've been able to convert on this end.
They've made 4 threes already here in the second half. Maslenikov with a nice left-hand finish. Largest Canisius lead of the night.
And a nice move by the big fellow. We saw him hit a 3 earlier. And there, a nice move. He took a right two-wheeler. Nice finish with his left. You know, if you're the Hawk fan here right now, and Coach Rice, this is a little bit of a danger zone. You want to score and not allow to. That's great work by Walker-Miller. And Coach Rice recognized that as well. He got a tough shot. If he didn't get that offensive rebound, the Griffs could have went down and built this lead to be 8 or more.
As is King Rice's team. They both came in playing good ball. I've been very impressed with this Golden Griffins team tonight.
Yeah, well, both teams have the ability to put the ball in the basket. And the Griffs shooting very well from three-point range. Really, the Hawks have only relied beyond the arc of Pappas, is the only one that's hit any. They haven't been able to get out in transition, get the crowd into it. And part of that is because Canisius has been able to convert on the offensive end, which hasn't allowed the Hawks to get out and run. And the few times they have missed, they've had great balance. They don't really send a ton of guys to the offensive glass. Right now, the Hawks trying to pick up some pressure and intensity on the defensive end by picking up full court and really extending the D all the way out here to the half-court line.
6 minutes to go, 4-point Canisius lead. Fofana and Reynolds. The rise and fire. It's good defense from Shavar Reynolds. Pappas likes to pull up. And Hareed will be very content to grab that rebound and work some clock here.
Yeah, I think that shot there, well, Pappas always has the green light.
It's good defense by McClary after the cut from Maslenikov.
An excellent help side in there to cut that off. But Pappas, you know, obviously with the green light, because he can get going and hit it from anywhere. But right now, the Hawks trailing by 4. They need to get some stops and really good possessions on the offensive end.
Well, it's been the trio of Ahmed, Fofana, and Hareed. As Jaco Fritz, the catch and the finish, and it's 65-59.
That was great recognition by Fofana, knowing he had the mismatch down low. Just building back up to 6-point lead.
Here's Miller, creates the space with the righty jump hook.
That's great offensive possession for the Hawks. Miller had not touched the ball down low in a while, other than the offensive rebound. You need a basket. He's a reliable source.
Hareed, too strong. Here comes Pappas. He'll find Ruddy. Good ball movement by Monmouth, but Canisius scrambling around, doing a nice job defensively. Pappas gets lost in the corner. Rebound to Maslenikov. Monmouth 1 for 7 from beyond the arc here in the second half.
And the Hawks with their starting 5 in the lineup here, trailing by 4.
That's a strong take and a good defensive play by Pappas. Hareed went crashing down And Monmouth will get it back down by 4.
Well, earlier in the first half under the same basket, Ahmad Harid did the exact same thing that George Pappas, recovered, got all ball that time, and the ball bounced off Pappas. That time, Pappas recovered, really repaying Harid. He gets a hand on the ball and creates the turnover. Hawks now have a chance to cut back into this 4-point lead.
Down 4 as we have the under 4 media timeout coming. There's Reynolds getting inside with the left hand.
Well, Pappas has been off the last couple times from 3, but the 3 fifth-year seniors who have been scoring every night, and there's Shavar Reynolds with a great effort through the screen, takes the contact. We have ourselves a 2-point game. Make sure you come back and check out the score in the first half. But then he finished with double figures because he can get going in the second half and finish and make plays. We were just talking, he's at 9 points. My bet is he'll be in double digits when this game's over.
It might even be this possession. Canisius 0-9 on the road, trying to go in a very tough place and get a win. But George Pappas always has something to say about that in the Ocean First Bank Center. It's a 1-point Monmouth lead.
Well, that was a set play out of the timeout. Coach Rice said, George, you missed 2 in a row. You're not going to miss 3 in a row. Let's set this up. He says, I want to get a lead, and Pappas delivers.
Set play out of the media timeout. Pappas has 19 and almost came away with the steal there.
It's amazing how the dunk and the 3 can get the crowd going. And George Pappas delivering his 6th of the evening, trying to get the crowd all fired up.
Whistle here, away from the exchange, will go on Ruddy. It'll be his 2nd. Only Monmouth's 5th foul with 2:54 remaining here in the 2nd. That's only their 4th.
Yeah, the Hawks have done a good job of not fouling, which is key in a close game with 3 minutes left. You don't want to put the team to the free throw line. You want to make them earn baskets. You have a 1-point lead.
Fofana, step back, too strong.
Yeah, he's been dynamite all game, but that time Walker Miller on the switch on the ball screen was able to extend out, and Fofana didn't even draw iron.
Miller has to reset himself. The baseline spin. McClary on the offensive glass. He'll put it up and in.
Well, Marcus McClary has been relatively quiet this evening. We talked about him as he's closing in on the all-time games played. He also seems like he makes big baskets in key moments, and they're going to get ready on a grab on the backdoor cut. Crowd not happy with that one. But as you talked about, Eddie, that was an on-the-floor foul. So instead of an easy 2 for Long, it'll be a Canisius ball out of bounds. You see the cut here by Long, and Ruddy grabs him there, right there. The official all over it.
See where Canisius looks here. Henderson's 3. Off, but a whistle. Jaco Fritz collided with Ruddy, and the Canisius junior, the guilty party. It'll be 1-1 for Ruddy with 1:55 remaining.
Well, we see Henderson, who's the 2nd double-digit scorer for the Griffs, really off tonight. Now you see Ruddy had position. The official ends up seeing the contact, and now Ruddy will go to the free throw line. Interesting here, Eddie. The Hawks, an excellent free throw shooting team all year round, all year long. Earlier in the season, a little bit better than as of late.
Ruddy misses it, but a back tap by McClary. I thought McClary might have been the last to touch it, and because it's inside of 2 minutes, the officials can go to the monitor. Xavier Long, and they will correctly award possession to Canisius. 1:55 to go, 3-point Monmouth lead.
Yeah, it's almost like the Hawks knew. McClary probably came over and told Coach, that was off of me.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to play some D. We're up 3. Let's get a stop. And Coach Witherspoon can set his offense.
See where Canisius goes. Fofana and Hareed have been consistent all game. Ahmed's on the bench this possession. Hareed and McClary, one-on-one. And McClary gets the deflection. What a defensive play by Marcus McClary.
Well, McClary is also a long, great defender. You know, he got his arms on the rebound and got it out. And a nice take, but unable to finish.
He wanted it on the other side. Here comes Canisius now. Hareed finds Fritz. Henderson. This would be for the tie.
Well, tough shot for Canisius. Henderson, who has not hit a 3 all night. I take that back. Has only hit 1 3 out of 7 attempts. But has not hit any lately and been off.
McClary. He picked up his dribble. 8 seconds to shoot. And a foul. The shot clock was winding down. And they ultimately called a foul on Amadou Fofana. A little too overzealous guarding Marcus McClary.
Actually, I think, well, it looks like, yeah, they're actually going to get the hold on Shavar Reynolds. So the foul's actually on, yes, as you said, Fofana.
Oh, and Reynolds misses the front end. Miller tracks it down for Monmouth.
That's twice. That's 3 free throws missed now by the Hawks, but able to come up with the offensive rebound with the 3-point lead here. If the Hawks could score.
Canisius is going to play it out. Pappas gives it to McClary. His shot to beat the shot clock. And a rebound comes down to Henderson, but they call a foul. Oh, and that gets Reggie Witherspoon up and upset off of the Canisius bench. Oh, they call Hareed a tough foul with 19.8 left.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Coach Witherspoon unhappy with that call. Kind of almost even away from the play. When you see Ruddy's in there and off balance. He'll go to the free throw line now, shooting 2. Have a chance to make this a 2-possession game.
Ruddy's first free throw is good. That's the big one, making it a 2-possession game. Three for 4 from the line tonight. 4-point game. Here comes Henderson.
Well, with it being a 4-point game, Canisius does not need to settle for a 3.
And they do, and Walker Miller blocks Jaco Fritz. Hareed gives the foul to Pappas, and Walker Miller's biggest defensive play of the night keeps Canisius at 65, and Monmouth will shoot free throws, bringing the crowd that made the trip tonight to its feet, as it looks like they'll win a close one with the Griffs.
That's twice now. Walker Miller's extended a little bit more than on that 3-point shot. He threw Fofana off early in the second half when it was back and forth, and the Hawks took the lead, and then that time gets the block. The Hawks coming up a little empty here at the free throw line. Still a 2-possession game. Canisius can go down and get a quick score.
Yeah, let me hold the phone on any end of game talk just quite yet. Pappas 1 for 2. Monmouth now 19 of 29 from the line. 5-point game. Fofana on the dead run. Ahead to Hareed. Armin Hareed. He'll miss the layup. His putback attempt. He's fouled and will go to the line down 5 with 2 seconds left.
Well, the Hawks do a good job of not fouling and making Canisius take some time off the clock. They do not give up an easy layup. Sometimes teams, they don't want to foul, they'll just give up an easy layup. The Hawks made Canisius work for it. They only have 2.3 seconds left. So if you're Canisius, Hareed's got to knock down both of these, and then they got to either get a turnover and a 3 or a foul and hopefully for them a missed three.
Well,
I'm sorry, a missed free throw so they can get a three.
They've communicated to the officials on the make. Reggie Witherspoon will want timeout. See what Harid does on the second one. He made them both. There's the timeout. And it is a one-possession game with just 2.3 seconds left. So not a whole lot of room for error here for Canisius timeout. Sunday is Championship Sunday, by the way. I know we have a game too, but...
How about NFL this weekend? Holy mackerel.
That was a pretty good 2 days, wasn't it?
That was about as good as it gets. Speaking of these Buffalo fans,
no.
I think Buffalo Nation, Bills Nation, not happy. And maybe Buffalo and Canisius fan nation not happy if Pappas knocks down one of these two free throws.
Well, Henderson will be whistled for the foul in the backcourt. It will send Pappas to the free throw line, an 85% free throw shooter. He just went 1 for 2, and that's really all he would need to do here to solidify the Monmouth win at home. And he makes the all-important first one, and that's the key. You go up 4, and King Rice's team can breathe a sigh of relief.
You stay away from everybody. There's no such thing as a 4-point play unless there's a foul, and definitely no such thing as a 5-point play. Good win for the Hawks. Canisius unable to come up. They come up just short again on the road, but good win for Monmouth Hawks, and you got two good friends hugging there, respect each other very well.
And Monmouth able to defend its home floor. Canisius a